The favorite to be the first pick of the 2025 NFL Draft for the New York Giants, it has been revealed, and there's going to be some surprises, I think, for all of the real ones out there. Before I share that information and my thoughts on the odds makers out west and what they believe is going to happen, I want to hear from you. Who do you think the Giants are going to pick at number 3? Predict it for me down in the comments section, as we're about 85 or so days away from the 2025 NFL Draft. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We are just a couple months away from the draft, and the rumors, they are heating up, and the betting odds have been released for who is going to be the number 1 pick to the New York Giants in round 1. I thought it was interesting that they said the number 1 pick, because maybe that means the Giants could move up or they could move down. Let's start, though, with the guy that I think is QB1 for the New York Giants, and right now he comes in as a favorite to be the first pick. Shedeur Sanders at minus 115 to the Giants' first selection. This is a guy that they have done a lot of homework on throughout the scouting process. 22 years old, 6'2", 215 pounds. He's got the size you want. He's got the frame you want, and I like that he's still a younger prospect. The Giants visited 4 games of his this season in Colorado. They went to 2 practices at Boulder. They spent time with him at the East-West Shrine Bowl, and Joe Schoen spoke about him at the Senior Bowl, and he said he checks all the boxes of a player that was coached by whose dad was a coach and someone that grew up around a football atmosphere. Mel Kiper Jr. has him as QB1 on his big board, and he says this about Shedeur: you won't find a tougher or more resilient quarterback prospect than Sanders, who took 99 sacks over the past 2 seasons, but still put up really strong numbers. I'm always impressed by watching him throw on the move, rolling either left or right. He is very accurate in those spots and has the arm to drive the ball. When his mechanics and footwork are sound, he can pick apart a defense. And while he's not necessarily a major rushing threat, he can keep the chains moving with his legs when there is an opening. And I agree with pretty much everything that Mel Kiper had to say there. This is a guy I think has become an underrated athlete. Look, he's not a scrambler. He's not a run-first QB. This is a guy, though, that can use his legs behind the line of scrimmage to buy time, reset the pocket, manipulate the pocket, and make throws downfield. Look, he's one of the most, if not, I'll just say, I think he's the most accurate quarterback in this class. I think his ball placement is the best. I think he gets from read to read to read, and his progressions are the best in this class. I worry a little bit about his arm strength and game-changing traits, but I love the ability for him to work out when the pressure is coming at him. When teams blitzed Colorado this past year, Shedeur Sanders made them pay. And that's why I believe he can be a successful quarterback in the NFL. Because his best skill, I think the thing that you would ask him what he's most proud about is his decision-making, ball security, and the ability to work in a pocket that I would describe as muddy, an unclean pocket. Rushers in his face, rushers at his feet, able to take one slight movement to buy time and find a way to rip that ball over the middle of the field. I think Sanders is going to be a good quarterback in this class, and I'll be pretty happy if he is the pick at number 3. Sanders, the favorite, or tied to be the favorite. We got both Colorado Buffalo football players tied at minus 115 to be the first Giants pick of the 2025 NFL Draft. And you know what? I'd be happy as well if Travis Hunter was the selection. I have Travis Hunter number 1 on my big board. I think he's the best football player in this class. There's a reason he won the Heisman. The guy had 92 grabs in 11 pass breakups and 4 interceptions. He is unreal what he's able to do. And I truly do think that he is the best receiver in this class. And I also think he is the best corner. Look, a lot of people wanted to say he's not a top 5 corner, not a top 5 receiver. That was nonsense. That was yapping. This is a guy that had 96 catches for more than 1,250 yards. He averaged 97 yards per game, and he had 15 touchdowns. I compare him to Odell Beckham Jr. as a receiver, and on defense, I see traits of Trayvon Diggs. His ability to run the route for opposing wide receivers, the best ball skills I've really ever seen of any DB, and he might enter the league as the best kick and punt returner as well. He's a dynamic athlete. He's a big play maker, and he's a big-time gamer. This is someone that if the Giants added him, I think he has a legit shot to be an all-pro on both sides of the field later on in his career. Mel Kiper says this about him: the offensive and defensive coordinators for the team that ultimately drafts him are going to be battling each other to use him. Mel Kiper also talked about how Hunter has tremendous hand-eye coordination and elite ball skills. His physical traits and quickness are off the charts, but the Heisman winner also thinks about the game at a high level. He is a highly competitive prospect who works hard to maximize his potential. Kiper has also talked about he thinks that Hunter can play both sides of the football in the NFL. Nearly 1,500 snaps last year. And what do I think his best skill is? Being the best football player on the field at all times. Everyone knows what it's like to play with a sport with somebody where it's like, that guy is just on a different level. They find a way to make a play. They find an opportunity to change the game with their athletic ability. And I think Travis Hunter could do that. We've seen that on offense at Colorado, and we've seen it on defense with him making game-winning plays on defense, such as forcing a fumble on the goal line against the Baylor Bears. My question to you, though, with Shedeur and Travis both being tied with the best odds at minus 115 to be the selection, who would you pick if they were both on the board at pick number 3, SSTH? Let me know. Some people, might be asking the question of, what about Cam Ward? What about Abdul Carter? Well, where I got these odds from, they were not listed. Cam Ward was not listed as a player that had odds to go to the Giants, and neither did Abdul Carter, the edge rusher out of Penn State. And you know what? For Ward not being a, candidate to be the pick, what it sounds like in Las Vegas, that is a little disheartening for me. Ward is plus 100 to be the number 1 overall pick. He has the best odds of any player in this draft. I know there's been a lot of talk, and we've talked about it on Tennessee Titans passing on a quarterback. I think they still could, but the odds makers out west, who they don't really ever get anything wrong, they have him as the runaway favorite to be the number 1 pick. Then Abdul Carter, is he a lock to go at number 2 to the Cleveland Browns? I talked to my friend Matthew Peterson, host of the Cleveland Browns Report, and he told me he thinks Abdul Carter could be that guy, and he's probably the pick that he wants the most. So Carter and Ward, not even on the list of the top candidates to be the first pick for the New York Giants. We got 2 more players to talk about. First, though, I got to give a major shout-out to our proud sponsor here at Chat Sports, and that is Game Time. If you're looking to buy tickets for the big game coming up, you got to do it with Game Time. And if you use our promo code ChatSports, that's ChatSports, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. You get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. If you use that all-in pricing feature, you're going to pay the price you see. No hidden fees. We've all used all the ticketing apps out there, and no one likes getting hit with hidden fees when you get to checkout. The app is also super easy to use. They offer a Game Time Picks feature that makes it that much more easy to go see your favorite team perform. It's more than just sporting events, though. You go to concerts, you go to theater events, you go to comedy shows, and so much more. If you want to go to a Knicks game, you can go catch one as well at MSG. So download the app, create an account, and use that promo code ChatSports. That is ChatSports, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. All of that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. What time is it? It's game time. Shout out to y'all for sponsoring this video. The person with the third best odds to be the Giants' first selection in the draft is Jalen Milroe, the quarterback out of Alabama. There was a mock draft put out by CBS this week where they had Jalen Milroe going number 3 to the New York Giants. And I haven't done a reaction video to that yet because I'm not sure my reaction would be very nice to Jalen Milroe. He has not looked good at the Senior Bowl. He is skipping passes on air. He's got a hand size under 9 inches. That is smaller than Kenny Pickett. This is someone that I'd be extremely worried about drafting him in the first round. Talk about drafting him in the second round. In the third round, I would listen because he does have some hype. He does have some traits I'm willing to bet on. But I really thought he regressed this year with the new head coach at Bama and Saban out of there. Look, the touchdowns, down. Interceptions, down. Big-time throw percentage, nearly cut in half. And the pressured completion percentage in both of the last 2 years were not that good. Coming out of 2023, though, he had traits of being an elite deep ball thrower, 9.1 big-time throw percentage. That drops to 5.4. The best thing about his game is his legs. His ability to get moving on the ground and make plays is what makes him an elite runner. He has traits like that. 879 rushing yards, 20 TDs this past year, 5.9 yards per carry, 32 missed tackles forced. He has 30 runs of 10-plus yards, 12 runs of 15-plus yards. Of the 879 yards he had on the ground, 433 of them came after contact. He picked up 200 yards on scrambles, 679 yards on design QB runs, and he moved the chains 54 times. So if you're going to draft Milroe, you got to understand that he is a running quarterback, and that's really all I see him as at this point. He's shown the ability to take top off the defense, but not consistently enough. Some pros, dynamic rusher. He's got a bazooka, and he has playmaking instincts, but his mental processing is below what I would say a first-round quarterback is, even a second or third-round quarterback. I think his accuracy needs a lot of work. I don't think his footwork's good in the pocket. I think he lacks touch really over the middle and the intermediate parts of the field. He throws a great deep ball, but he lacks, that elite ability to layer the football. I don't think he's all that good in the pocket. I got him at a round 3 grade, high upside lottery ticket. If everything goes right, he's going to be a good player in this league. But I'm not sure it's all going to go right. I worry about his ability to win from in the pocket late in the game. To be honest with you, if Jalen Milroe is the pick for the Giants at number 3, that's going to be one of the biggest crash outs of my career. I'm not going to be able to do well. So check on me, pray for me, and let's hope that Jalen Milroe does not go number 3 to the Giants. Maybe this will be a video we look back in 10 years and all laugh at, and he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he got us number 5, 6, 7, and 8. But my eyes tell me that he is a guy that needs to sit for maybe a year or 2 and almost rework his entire footwork game and as a pocket passer. The last player that had odds listed was Will Johnson, the cornerback out of Michigan, with the longest odds of plus 800. So Shedeur 1, Travis 2, Jalen Milroe 3, and Will Johnson number 4. This is a guy that a lot of people had as the best defensive prospect heading into the 2024 season. Then he only played in a handful of games, had a foot injury that popped up and really kind of sunk his stock a little bit. Dane Brugler actually had him as the number 1 player this summer going in to the season, but that has changed. As he says, my preseason number 1 prospect, Will Johnson, has missed multiple games this season due to shoulder and toe injuries. And the 2024 tape has had more volatility than you want to see. But he is fluid and long and shows terrific awareness in the passing game. Johnson still projects as a number 1 corner in the NFL. Dane Brugler now has Travis Hunter rated above Will Johnson as a corner. Look, Will was really good at Michigan. He was a cornerstone piece of that championship defense that they had into 2023-2024 season. But the injuries kind of scare me. And to be honest, I feel like taking a corner at number 3 feels like a reach for the New York Giants. You drafted a corner in the 3rd round last year. You drafted a corner in the 1st round the year before that. You drafted a corner as well in the 3rd year the year before that. Look, you can't just keep doubling down on these guys. I understand. I'm all for BPA at pick number 3. But Will Johnson doesn't even make my top 5 big board. To be honest with you, I don't even know if he's number 6. When I think about it like this, who am I okay with taking at number 3? There's 4 guys. I have 4 players on my big board that are worthy of the number 3 pick right now. If I had a 5th, it'd be Mason Graham. Number 1 on my big board, overall football players is Travis Hunter, but when tweaking it of who I want at number 3, Cam Ward. I'm in between these guys, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I think you take the quarterback first, but I think Travis Hunter could be a blue-chip prospect in this league, and I got Abdul Carter, the edge rusher, there. Mason Graham could probably make this list, but overall, these are the only guys that I really think deserve to be that pick. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG, @MarshallArena_. Hit me up, and let's go Big Blue.